Welcome to the episode Middle Ground with JLE, L.L.C, where we teach family. That's things on Detroit Love off my first album, the JLE Experience. I own the music and copyright, so don't mute nothing Facebook. I always got to say that. I have a fellow Wayne State University alum and senior director of undergraduate admissions at Wayne State University, Ericka Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Jackson. That's okay.
Oh, I ain't say it right.
I thought you said Johnson, but it's okay.
Oh, I thought I said Jackson.
Okay, all right, it's all good. I'm sorry.
Jackson, want to make sure I want to get my name wrong now. You can't suck that bad. First question: what led you to this path?
So what led me to the path? Okay, I guess I have to first credit my parents who were both educators. I'm originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. My mom and dad started out as teachers, so education was always a foundation in our household and really important. And going to college was something that was instilled in us early on. So I didn't actually start out in higher ed, though. From the time I was like 8 years old, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, and there were no lawyers in my family. So I didn't necessarily know what that meant, but that's what I wanted to do. So I actually pursued law, and that's what actually brought me to Wayne State originally. So I came to Wayne State to go to law school in 1994. I fell in love with Wayne State University, fell in love with the city of Detroit, never looked back. But when I started my career as an attorney, I also had a family. So the week that I graduated from law school, I found out that I was pregnant. I had gotten married while I was in law. So I had an infant. And I quickly realized that the work-life balance that I was going to need to be the mother I wanted to be, the professional I wanted to be, that wasn't necessarily going to work. Practicing law, even though I really enjoyed what I did. So I stuck with it for 7 years. And had 2 more children and realized that it was time for me to do something different. But I didn't know what that was yet. And thankfully, I ran into a colleague of mine, another Wayne State alum, who was working in development at the law school. And so my first job in higher ed was working as the associate director of development at Wayne State Law School. So I was able to raise money for scholarships. I worked with the Damon J. Keith Collection at the time before it became the Damon J. Keith Center for Civil Rights. And that is when I started working in higher ed. I did development work for a while. And then the position opened up as the assistant dean for admissions at the law school. And I didn't know it at the time, but that's the job that let me know what my purpose was. And so I was able to help students get into law school, to counsel them about what they needed to do to be a successful law school candidate. And I eventually also worked in student affairs, so helped them, get through law school successfully. And then eventually I was asked to if I was interested in working on the undergraduate side. And I really loved my job at the law school, so I didn't do that right away. I kept saying, no, I really like the law school. I really like what I'm doing. And the third time, because I'd also wanted to do something more. Like I'd been working at the law school in admissions for like 8 years, and I felt like I still had some professional growth and development to do, but I didn't know what that was. And so it was like the third time I felt like God was tapping me on the shoulder, like, you said you wanted to do more. This is more. And so I took the Nestea plunge, and I interviewed for the position as director of undergrad admissions at Wayne State, and I got the job. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 7 years. And even though I knew that, I found my purpose in admissions work in grad school, one of the things that I realized over time, and Wayne State is a wonderful university, and it's a place where we have an access and opportunity mission. And that also is true for the law school. But at the same time, the law school admissions is much more competitive. And so, it was disheartening to meet with a lot of Black and brown students who wanted to be lawyers, but didn't have the counseling that they needed when they were in high school, so that they knew what they needed to do while they were in college to then be a successful law school applicant. And that's the reason why I knew I needed to do undergraduate admissions, because in order to build a pipeline to the law school, I needed to make sure that I was building a pipeline of more students going to college and getting a college education. And again, I don't think I could do admissions everywhere, but I know that I'm meant to do admissions at Wayne State and at a place where we value diversity. We value, again, removing barriers to education. We serve a lot of families that are first generation college students. About a third of our incoming students are first generation, the first in their families to go to college. And although my parents went to college, no one else in my family, both on my mother or my father's side, had ever become an attorney. And when I think about that, that's like mind blowing to me. Like in the
Amazing.
hundreds of years of, people in my family before me, Wayne State gave me that opportunity. And so it changed my life. It changed the, trajectory of my life and the life of my family. And so, I'm a grateful alumni, but I'm also a really proud administrator there, because I believe in the mission of the university. And again, I believe in the value of higher education. So that's the reason why I know I'm working in my purpose now, and I found my purpose.
Okay, now I read that starting this fall, they're gonna have a new bachelor's for law degree.
Yes, in fact, our colleagues from the law school came to our counselor meeting on Friday to talk about that. So, yeah, we're one of the first schools in the Midwest to offer a full bachelor's degree. It's a Bachelor of Arts in Law, and it's a partnership with our law school as well as our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. And a few years ago, they started the minor in law program. So, this really gives students who may be interested in a career in law or a law adjacent field, like if they wanted to, be a police officer, if they wanted to work in federal government, if they wanted to work in nonprofit, but they wanted to have that law background, that major in law is a great place for them to start, especially if they are thinking about going to law school. They could either minor in law and choose another academic discipline and then supplement that with a minor in law, because they're taught by actual law school faculty members. They actually take their classes at the law school. So they get to, get their feet wet and see if that's really what they want to do. And one of the things that I most value, even though I'm not practicing law every day anymore, the education that I got was amazing. And, I didn't understand the phrase, but people used to say it to me all the time before I went to law school. Like, law school helps you think like a lawyer. I didn't know what that meant. But having gone through law school and graduated and practiced law, what that means is fundamentally a few things. Like, I can think of two in particular. Law school helps you synthesize large amounts of information. It helps you spot issues and find solutions to those issues or problems. And so it gives you those skills, and it gives you critical thinking skills. And, if you're involved in something like moot court, like I was, then it also gives you really good oral communication skills. And even though, again, I don't practice law anymore, I use those skills every single day. So those are skills that anybody, can learn now while they're, and, the Socratic method, being terrified about being called on in class, without any notice, and, having to just be on call, like for the whole class. Like, that means you got to come to class prepared. Like, those are things that, you never forget. So and that teaches you too, to always be ready. Like, you just always have to be ready. So.
Man, I took business law. We had to do those case briefs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Like, wait a minute, dude. You mean I need to go read that whole case, which was like 30 pages,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
put
yeah.
all the pertinent information into one page? And they do this all the time.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to be a lawyer at first. I like
Okay.
the idea I could sass somebody and they got to take it. That might be pretty cool. But 10 years and you got to get a past the bar. Like, well, I do 10 years of my life and I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
That's
no joke. It's no joke, but it
lawyers put their work in.
definitely, yeah, teaches you a lot.
Now, when you started as the associate dean of undergrad, did you ever think about becoming the senior director?
Oh, like when I started at the law school, like in the associate director role, and then became the assistant dean. So I didn't at the
Okay.
time. And so here's the difference. So in my new role, or in my current role, I'm a senior director of undergrad admissions, and I'm not working in one of the schools and colleges. We have 13 schools and colleges. The law school was one of them. When you work in one of the academic units, like the law school, you are, as an administrator, you're an assistant dean or an associate dean, or, the dean of the law school. So I was an assistant dean. I never wanted to be a professor. I never wanted to, like publish and, do the research and all that that was required. But I did want to be an administrator. But at the law school, that was the only position that I would be able to hold there, was as the assistant dean of admissions. And then eventually, like I said, I wanted more. I knew that I could be helpful to our students who were going through law school. So I did both, admissions and student affairs for a while. And that is actually what prepared me for then going and working in the undergrad admissions office, which services all of the schools and colleges, with the exception, obviously, of the medical school, the law school, but all the other program or colleges that have undergraduate programs, we help them recruit for every aspect of the university. And so it was helpful for me to understand the full student journey, to understand retention and student success, and the types of challenges that students, deal with while they're in college or in graduate school. So I feel like that job definitely prepared me for the job I have now. And this is the job that I feel like I'm best suited for right now.
Okay. So, what's the most rewarding of it that you've experienced so far?
Definitely the most rewarding thing for me is when I know that either the policies that we have or the things that we do are able to remove barriers that existed to higher education. And so, again, I am so grateful that Wayne State does have an access and opportunity mission. So that means that every day we are trying to find a way to say yes to a student to become part of the Wayne State community, to be able to get their education and to be able to change the trajectory of their lives. So the most rewarding thing for me is every year when we've admitted, between, let's say, 25 to 3,000 new incoming students every year, and we're welcoming them into Wayne State. And I know that those students that are there, their lives will be changed, and, hopefully for the better forever. They're going to be educated at a research, university, an urban public research university. The types of experiences that they're going to have, and the faculty and the scholars that they're learning from, are some of the best in the world. And we have that right in Detroit, right in Midtown Detroit. And, the fact that they're able to be educated at such a phenomenal university in the middle of a wonderful city, with all the experiences that provides for them, that is very rewarding to me. And again, because we serve so many students who are first generation, so they're the first in their families to go to college, and then to see those students go on and get graduate degrees, or go out in the public, or go out in the community that we are a part of, and do well in the community, or work at some of the major corporations that we have. Our students are doing phenomenal things, and I'm inspired by them, daily. We have a newsletter that comes out, and it's called Today at Wayne, and it features faculty and students and staff. And I'm just always inspired by the things that our students are doing. We have law students that, have free legal aid clinics, and they help small businesses that are getting started for free. And the medical school, provides free healthcare, and was a tremendous resource for the community during the pandemic. So again, just knowing everything that all of our students have access to, and to see them flourish is pretty rewarding. And the most rewarding thing so far has been admitting my own kids into college at Wayne State.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely say at Mike Illich, they prepare you for corporate America because you
Mm-hmm.
meet people that are. I remember the guy that owned the deli part of Myers. I was
Mm-hmm.
just reading him and his partner sold that for 20-30 million. Like, oh, he
Wow.
coming to our class next week. What? I just read that dude's story. Oh snap! I got question.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I need all that game, man. I need that Yoda game from you. How did you sell that for 230 million, bro? I need to get to that level at some point.
Yeah.
And the
No, we have
information,
phenomenal alumni. Mm-hmm. My
but one of
daughter,
the,
my youngest daughter, is actually a first year student at the Michaelich School of Business.
oh yeah, man, they give you the game all day.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was like when I was a custodian at Wayne, so always union. You look at it
Mm-hmm.
one sided. You will get indoctrinated to see the other side of the scope. And I found myself a lot of times we have conversations. Oh wait a minute, you're going to bull job today and not do your fair share, and you complaining. What if you were the boss and have hired someone to cut your grass and they have it?
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel? Oh, I'd be upset. Now flip it around. Man,
Yeah.
you in that college stuff, Joe. I'm just saying. I mean, I see both sides now.
Yeah.
You know, man, you learn a lot there. All the colleges teach you a lot. Even when I had music,
Mm-hmm.
that ear training, that's like Star Trek stuff, man.
Have you heard about the new Hillberry Gateway project? I can't wait. I'm gonna go next week
What was
for like
that?
an insiders event. So that is the new. So the Hillberry Theater now has an entire addition to it that includes the Valet Jazz Center.
Oh,
So it's an amazing new space for theater productions, for musical concerts, and just all the things related to the arts. And it's really exciting. And it's, I think, I don't know if it's already officially open, but as university employees, we get to go next week to get like a preview and to find out all the other wonderful things that are there. But it's amazing, and it's a great resource for students that are in music, theater, dance. It's just going to be a game changer.
well, I know I saw, I'm saying her name right, Tonia Williams. She owns her own car, like the car service. I'm saying it
Mhm.
right. And she had pictures of the Hillberry that they just opened.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, they open it? I remember last when I left, they still building on it.
yeah. So now it's finally
Looks awesome.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Really look awesome. Shout out to her for what she's doing because she doing big things around the city with her company. Okay. Anything you want to promote?
So it's interesting because I don't have my own small business. I don't like sell anything. I don't have a side hustle, but I will promote my younger sister has
Okay.
a plant-based hair company called The Joy of Curls. And so she makes natural plant-based products for people with textured hair. And a portion of her proceeds helps support kids in foster care. And so, although she lives in Des Moines, Iowa, in Des Moines and many other places, they are in need of more African American families to foster kids. And so now we have a lot of African American kids that are not in African American homes when they're in foster care. And so one of the challenges is doing their hair. So my sister has a love for that. Her name is Joy, and she is the Joy of Curls. So you can go to the Joy of Curls shop and find her. So I'm not going to plug me, but I'm going to plug my sister because it's like
Okay.
a family owned business. So
Okay. And Tonia is a valet service, I believe. I was just thinking, like, make sure you're going to say the lady name, make sure you say her stuff right.
yeah.
But that's dope. 'Cause you definitely do have people that, even with commercials they have now, are more diverse.
Absolutely.
They never dealt with our hair texture. He's like, what do I do? I'm not trying to be offensive. I don't know what to do. They're gonna need that help.
Right. Yeah. She convinced me to go all natural years ago. And so,
Okay.
yeah, it can be challenging sometimes because back in the day, there weren't products on every store shelf
Nah.
for Black and brown people, especially
Mm-mm.
African American people. So, Yeah, it's nice now that you can go to a grocery store, you can go to a big box store and find the products that we need, but that wasn't always the case.
Man, my mom always had that blue magic.
Oh, wow. Oh, I remember
Hey,
that.
we tried to pass a week ago. Like, they still make that?
I think you can still find some blue magic. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Or remember the Ultra Sheen? Remember the Ultra
Oh
Sheen?
wow!
Green Ultra Sheen?
I remember that.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Yeah.
Now we got so much technology and stuff. We like the Jetsons a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta stay up with the times.
what has been your biggest challenge on your journey so far?
My big challenge, I knew that I didn't want to practice law anymore. I have two times that I can think of. When I knew I didn't want to practice law anymore, but I didn't know what I wanted to do before I got into higher ed and, found my purpose. That was a big challenge for me. That at the time I had like a crisis in confidence because I had never thought about anything else that I ever wanted to do before. And so it took me some time. It took me probably a good 2 years to try to figure all that out. So I eventually did, and I'm glad that I made
Mhm.
that career shift. And then now I would say the biggest challenge in higher ed, there's a few things. Right now, I think higher ed and going to college at times is something that is not necessarily encouraged. There are a lot of folks that are questioning the return on investment of a college education because it has become so expensive. But again, the way that a college education can change your life, I think it's very much worth the investment. It's also challenging, just in the nature of the job that I do now, because I work at Wayne State, which is a regional public university in the state of Michigan.
Mhm.
Michigan has 15 public universities, and fewer and fewer students are graduating from high school just based on birth rates. So 18 years ago, there were fewer babies that were born. So we're all now competing for all of those same students.
Mm.
So it can be very challenging because as a public university, we rely a lot on public funding, but that has, in many years prior to now, um, funding cuts, have happened in higher ed. And so, in order for public universities in particular to, to continue to run and operate,
Mhm.
you have to do that through enrollment and through tuition. And so, Wayne State is the most affordable of the public universities in Michigan,
True.
and we try very much to make a college education affordable. So I'm super excited that in partnership with Governor Whitmer's initiative with the Michigan Achievement Scholarship, we now offer the Wayne State Guarantee. So many families now, Michigan families, students will be able to come to Wayne State for free. So if their families, annual income is $70,000 or less, and they have $50,000 or less of assets, they can come to Wayne State for free. And I think that's amazing. So,
Oh,
and
that's
we
what I
have
thought it was. Okay.
yeah. And we have the Heart of Detroit guarantee or the Heart of Detroit pledge. So for, I think it's like 4 or 5 years now, we've had the Heart of Detroit pledge. So any student who lives in the city of Detroit or who graduates from a Detroit high school is eligible, to come to Wayne State for free. So, we have been trying for a very long time to make a college education affordable and for as many students as possible to access, an affordable, wonderful education.
Wow, that's some amazing stuff. So I know as a custodian, it was free. Like, okay,
Yeah,
as long as you cut that 30, 13, 3,300 or whatever,
yeah,
I'm a full clean, whatever you want. I don't care who my boss. I don't care all that. Just cut that check.
right.
And
And that,
I just had people laughing. I'm like, now, this is a contract. When I
mhm.
sign up for my class and they say, "Oh, you can't register," I'm kicking up a garbage can. I'm watching cartoons the rest of the day, doing nothing. Get the numbers right, dog. You take the class, I'm clean everything. I pick it up. They're like, you're
You
joking.
know,
I'm dead serious.
you know what though? That's one thing, and that's a tremendous benefit that we have as employees or
Mhm.
former employees of Wayne State is, we as employees can take courses for free. Our dependents, you get a significant, discount.
Mhm.
So our kids can go there half off. And we even have a Born to be a Warrior program. So, based on your child's high school GPA, or if they took the test, their test score and their GPA, they can also go to Wayne State for free. So there aren't a lot of universities that offer that type of benefit to their employees, and to the family members of their employees. So yeah, I agree with you. That's tremendous and it's wonderful.
I try
And
to tell everybody, like, let's you want to
mhm,
trade, start a business. You can get a bachelor's, master, doctorate for free, and you ain't this government cheat. You ain't going. You gonna complain about you hate working here or whatever, the
right.
supervisor or the boss, and you get a free education and go
Mhm.
across the planet.
Yeah, keep your eye on the prize. That's right.
I'm gonna go to this class, dog, because I'm going to graduate and get up out of here. I hope you still ain't sitting like, man, I'm sick of this spot. You go basket weave and pick something.
Right.
It's free.
Yeah. I actually want to they have a new program in American Sign Language, and I've been wanting to take an ASL course, because they have a um, a signing ministry at my church. And so
Okay.
I know a few songs, so I can sign, certain words of a few songs, but I would like to be more fluent. Um,
Okay.
we have a parishioner, Miss Jessie, who I love. So I always say, "Good morning, how are you? Happy to see you." But that's where it ends for me. So I'm very much hopeful that one day I'll be able to take the class. But they offer them during the day right now. So I do have a
Okay.
full-time job, so maybe when they start
Oh
off
yeah.
in the evening, I'll be able to take an ASL course.
And it's my teammate Gina smiling and saying she's not too old to be adopted. And
Change your name to Jackson, Gina. I might be able to pull it off.
now, do they have cybersecurity courses there?
They
You
do.
ain't know?
They do. They have a cybersecurity program, and then we also have extension centers, so campuses around Metro Detroit. And so one of the campuses in Macomb County, actually is the campus where we have a dedicated cybersecurity program.
Okay.
So you absolutely can have those types of courses, as well as we're now beginning to offer more certificate programs too. So in addition to 4-year degrees, if someone wanted to get a certificate in a particular area, you can do that as well.
Coding. Y'all got that one?
We do have coding. I'm not sure if that's a certificate program, but absolutely, absolutely. And that would be through computer science and the College of Engineering.
I got everything now, boy. I
I
came
know.
up in these
I
schools.
try to tell people. I mean, we have more than 350 degree programs. So there's pretty much something for everyone. And my story about that is that I try to share with students and families when they come to our,
Sure.
is that, I think when we tell people, oh, Wayne State is a public research one university, Carnegie rated, like the highest Carnegie rating. So tell people what that means. What that means is you can start there as an undergraduate student and go all the way through and get your PhD. You can also get a medical degree. You can also get a law degree. And you can't do that at every university. But the more important thing, for me, when I'm talking to 17-year-olds that are trying to figure out where they want to go to college, is, some folks have it figured out and they know exactly what they want to major in. A lot of
Mhm.
people come to college and they think they know what they want to major in, like me. My high school counselor told me, "Oh, you want to be a lawyer? You need to major in political science." I took my first political science course, hated it. Then I was like, okay, maybe I took a world politics class as an 18-year-old. I was If I went and took that class now, I would love it. As an 18-year-old, my worldview was too small to appreciate that. So then I was like, okay, maybe psychology. I took a psychology course, but I took one of the
Ah,
science.
intro was awesome.
But it was more of the science based, psychology, as opposed to the Bachelor of Arts based psychology. So I was like, yeah, I don't know if this is it. And then I took an argumentative writing course. and I loved it. And thankfully, my professor, it was like the end of my sophomore year. So I hadn't even, figured out what I was going to major in yet by the end of my sophomore year. And she was like, Erica, have you ever thought of majoring in English? Of course I had it. My mom majored in English. Like there was I was not gonna be, I was not trying to be a teacher. I was not majoring in English, right? And sure enough, I ended up majoring in English. So the beauty of that story is that if you go to a university or if you go to a place, a university that has lots of degree programs, even if you have, like have two or three different things that you think you want to major in, you won't have to transfer to another school to find the program that is actually right for you. Because sometimes people do have to do that. So, I sometimes give the example of, what if you wanted to be a graphic designer and then you decide that you want to be, a mortuary science person. You want to work at a funeral home. You want to own your own funeral home. At Wayne State, you don't have to go to another university. We're the only university in Michigan that has a mortuary science program. So there is something for everyone. And that's what I try to tell students and families that I talk to, that that's the beauty of going to a place like Wayne State, somewhere there that we have, the depth and breadth that we do in degree programs and faculty expertise and all of that.
You're right. I went from engineering to music management, dropped out, went back, business management.
Right.
So they did have what you need.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, Gina says, maybe we can trade. I can teach something. Looking for cyber legal studies.
Interesting. So in that case, there is a minor in law program and there's a new bachelor's of law program. And so in the college, both are through the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. That's one of the partner colleges. And in College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, you have to select a major, but you also have to select a minor. So you can do cyber studies as a program and then do a minor in law, or something like that, or double major. But yeah. And then the beauty of law school, though, is that when you go to law school and you get your degree in law, it's the Juris Doctor degree, you don't specialize. So every law school graduate, like we take everyone takes the same classes their first year. And then after that, you get to select your courses. So the funny thing for me is I loved criminal law because I loved constitutional law. So I took criminal procedure courses, but then I also took all the courses that were going to be on the bar exam because I was only trying to take that joker once. So I was like, yes,
My lady.
I was like, let's only do this once. So I did that. And even though I knew I wanted to practice employment law, I never took an employment law class because it never just like fit right with my schedule. But we also very much focus on and encourage students to do clerkships or to work at law firms while you're in law school, so you can get that hands-on experience and you can apply what you have learned in the classroom with what you'd actually be doing as a lawyer. So I was very, very fortunate. The Wolverine Bar Association, which is the Black Bar Association in Detroit, has a clerkship program. So any student that's in law school can interview to be placed at a law firm during the summer. And you can even do that even after your first year of law school, which is really challenging. A lot of first year students don't necessarily get paid legal clerkships. And so I was fortunate that I was placed at the law firm of Summer Schwartz. It's in Southfield, and they have a phenomenal employment law section of the firm. And so I got to work there after my first year of law school. I worked there after my second year of law school. I worked there till I graduated from law school, and they didn't have an opening in the employment department when I graduated. But then by the time I took the bar and passed the bar, someone had left, and then that's where I started my law career.
So what made you want to switch over from law?
So for me, it had a lot to do with work-life balance. I got married after my first year of law school, and was blessed to find out the week that I graduated from law school that I was pregnant with our first child. So I was like 5 months pregnant when I took the bar. Highly do not recommend to do that, but I did. So that also meant that when I started my legal career, I literally started when my daughter was 3 months old. And so I had an infant as an associate at a law firm, and thankfully Summer Schwartz is a plaintiff's law firm, so I didn't have all those crazy billable hours that a lot of law firms have, but it was what you call eat what you kill. So you didn't have to necessarily bill a certain amount of hours every day, but at the end of the year you had to make sure that you were bringing in enough money to cover your salary and your benefits and all of that. Or if you didn't and you came up short, the partners who you worked with had to cover that for you. So there was no slacking off. You still had to perform. You still had to do the work. The other thing, and I loved employment law. I'm actually glad I practiced employment law, because being, the leader of a team, managing personnel, I still use that every single day. So I'm glad that I did that. But I also did litigation. So it was really challenging. And the very first case that I went to trial on with the partners that I worked for, my husband was working midnights at the time. And so I had to ship my baby off to Grand Rapids to be with her grandparents so that they could take care of her, because after trial every day, you had to go back to the office and prepare for the next day of trial. And I didn't I didn't have any family in Detroit. So, I had to, you know,
That's a grind.
yeah. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is more challenging than I thought it was going to be in terms of that work-life balance. And then the other thing is that employment law is technically civil law, but it was very uncivil. Like, you basically are arguing with other lawyers all day long. You go to court. Sometimes the judges are hateful and mean and they yell at you, and you're like, and people are, questioning your integrity and literally saying things that are like misrepresenting what you have said before. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I very much loved employment law. I loved being able to help people who had been wronged, who had been terminated from their jobs wrongfully, legally, all of that. But all the other stuff, then I don't get to see my babies, like, and take care of them the way I want to. And so by the time I ended up leaving the practice of law, I practiced for 7 years. I had 3 little ones, and I knew I wanted more work-life balance. So that is how I made the transition to higher education.
Okay.
And thankfully, like I said, it was one of my law school classmates, Matt Engelbert, who hired me to come work at Wayne State in development at the law school. And that's how I transitioned into higher education.
Yeah, eat what you kill. That's kind of gangster. Well, you working on death row record type stuff.
Seriously, sometimes it's like, really, you want to see this other side of me? I don't think you want to. I'm a nice person. I want to be nice to other people, but try me if you want to. So one of the best phrases, one of the partners I used to work with, Joe Golden, because sometimes we'd be in a deposition, and first of all, they would either think that I was the court reporter, or if we were in court, that I was a court clerk or something, not clear. So they would try me that way. And then if you're as an associate attorney, like, they know that that's a newbie, right? A rookie. So then you'd be, in a deposition or something with a partner on the other side, and they'd be trying to intimidate you and object every time you ask a question. But I love Joe Golden. He taught me this. He was like, it's a deposition. There's no judge there. So there's no one to determine, right or wrong, whether that was an appropriate question or not. So their client has to answer the question. They can object later, but they have to answer the question. He was like, so just look them in the face and say, duly noted, and turn to their client and say, you may answer the question. And so I was like, oh, I love doing that. That was fun. Because it gave you something to say, and you knew you were in the right, and you didn't have to be flustered by someone else trying to throw you off your game. So there definitely is a lot of gamesmanship and chess playing in litigation.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, some high tense chess going on in there.
Yeah. I never learned how to play chess, but I did learn
you do it all the time. You're talking about, you probably be good at it.
Mm.
Look at you people.
Gina asked if I'm still open to practice law. So
Mhm.
I've learned in life to never say never.
Okay.
But I will say I don't miss litigation. But before I left the firm, I was practicing adoption law, which I loved
Okay.
because adoption law, I was either helping to represent a mother who had just had a baby who was putting their baby up for adoption. They were all private adoptions, or a family who wasn't able to have a child of their own and very much wanted, to welcome a child into their home. So we would be helping them with their adoption process. So in adoption, it was a beautiful thing because the attorneys on both sides were working for a common good, for a common
Awesome.
purpose. And so it wasn't so
Got
uncivil. Yeah, it was
it.
more collaborative and yeah. So I would probably, if I did practice law again, it would probably be to do something like that.
Say no litigation, cyber
Cyber
insurance.
insurance, yeah, I agree. But I still do have friends that are practicing litigation and are phenomenal lawyers, and my hat's off to them because it's hard work. But some people just love it and they do it and they do it really well. So
And it's my board of director member here. Shout out to her. Wow, she was adopted.
Dr. Angela, oh, wonderful. I love that.
She says, "Let's be adopted."
Yes,
100%.
absolutely. Yeah, that's why it was so rewarding and wonderful to work with, families who were adopting kids.
Okay. Now, in your words, what has been your impact?
I think for me, the biggest impact I think is again just opening the door of opportunity for students who want to get a higher education because again I know what that can do for students and for the trajectory of their lives. Like Wayne State has recently been recognized for being the best school in Michigan for social mobility. So again, when I talk about how about a third of our incoming students every year are first generation students, so neither their parents haven't graduated from college. And we know that when you earn a college degree, you're more likely to earn more wages and salary over time that can then lift your family either out of poverty or just being, just struggling, from paycheck to paycheck. And so I think the biggest impact for me is just being that person who can open the door wider for more people.
Okay.
So that's something that I very much am grateful that I get to do.
And I would say going to college, it opens your mind to see the world in a different view. Because Wayne
Hmm.
really made you work in groups with different cultures so you learn each other. Because
Absolutely.
corporate America, y'all going to be partnering or getting jobs with each other. And on the college level, y'all can learn commonality of, well, what's the right way to greet your culture or whatever.
Hmm.
You learn that and you keep that knowledge. So if you come across a big deal for the company you work for, you know these people prefer that you shake their hand
Right.
firmly and look with eyes of respect, for example. And other
Right.
people just like, hey, what up, what up? I'm like, what is this? Who is this person? But you know from knowing one of your own, that's not how you engage now. You
Right.
know a lot of stuff like that. And open
Yeah.
your mind to the world, all the stuff you learn.
Yeah, that's I think the beauty of Wayne State too is that we have such a diverse community of students. And so again, you learn from people from, all over the United States, from, like more than 70 countries our students come from. And so, at any given moment, you're, opening yourself up to something new and learning from other people that are different from you, who have different viewpoints from you. I think too that we are in such a polarizing time right now. We're in such a polarizing time.
Yeah.
And so college and, being at a university is a place where you can debate ideas, you can debate people, but you learn how to do that in a civil way rather than shouting and yelling over each other. You can listen to one another and maybe gain an understanding of somebody's perspective. That doesn't mean that you agree with it, but at least you're gaining a different perspective. So I think that's the beauty of college as well.
I don't know if he's still there. I can't remember his name, but he was a staunch Democrat that I had business law with.
Mm-hmm.
First 30 minute class was current events.
Okay.
I had to brush up on it because that's when Hillary was taking on now former President Trump.
Oh, wow.
Like, we really talk about this in class. Like, yeah, I mean, you're going into law, you might
Mm-hmm.
work at a firm, this and that. These things you need to know. I'm like, okay, I gotta start brushing up on this stuff. I ain't paying attention. And we would chop it up like, oh, who's missing is a beer. Okay, not bad. I've always wanted to see him after Trump won because he was like Democrat for life type person. Like, I
Yeah,
know that class had to been awesome.
it was rough for a while. It's still rough sometimes with the climate that we're living in and the politicians, and yeah, it's a challenging time right now.
And laws matter.
And laws matter, and voting matters.
That's true.
And voting rights matter.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she got a book she posed right. Well, she gonna get around to it.
Oh my gosh, you are holding my feet to the fire, Jeffrey.
I ain't doing nothing like that. I just
You already spoke it over me, and I think there's only like maybe 2 people that I've ever told that I have a book title that I've never written yet, but yeah.
so after I wrote 2 books, me it's Spider Sense. Like you're talking to an author.
Oh wow.
Wait a while before you ask, just to be sure.
I'll claim that. Okay.
And it ain't been wrong so far. Like okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
nowadays it's a lot easier to publish,
Yeah.
like you don't have to, pay somebody else to, to market your materials for you. You can market them yourselves on social media, and you can publish yourself through Amazon.
I was waiting on that.
Awesome. Proud HBCU alum. I love it.
Don't rest Fisk. The Fisk University.
I love it.
Shout
Dr.
out to them,
Angela.
all the HBCU. I ain't saying nothing.
Oh, wow. Wow. First draft November. Okay. Gina is holding me accountable.
Yeah, that's Gina saying that. I ain't say that.
Okay. All right. I'll take it. You know what? That's one thing about law school taught me too is deadlines. Like there's a reason to have them. Oh, I love it. I will take all that.
Help you though.
All right. All right. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn.
And I need that Yoda game.
All right. Okay.
What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
Wow. Okay. So for someone trying to find their purpose, I think the most important thing is to find out what you love and what brings you joy, what you can do to impact others, and to try to do that and to do it with like just do it to the best of your ability and to always give your best. So for me, that was very much instilled by my parents. My parents were always, volunteering, giving back to the community, mentoring, opening doors for other people.
Okay.
So I think that is just natural that even though I didn't realize that was the path that I was going to take, that is why I was led to this path where I found my purpose by, helping, other folks get an education. I've been a mentor to students before, to my kids, friends, or basically to other women professionals who are working and trying to balance work, life, and family. And so again, just like I tell students when they're trying to figure out what to major in undergrad or college and they don't know what it is, I always tell them, take courses that you like or that you're interested in, and then find what it is that you love and major in that. So I would say that that's the same advice that I would give someone who's trying to find their purpose. What is it that you love? What is it that you gravitate toward? What is it that gets you out of bed every single day and makes you want to be a better person? Do that.
See, Yoda game. I know you give it to me. Now, is the admissions for undergrad still in UGL or they moved it?
So the admissions office is at the Welcome Center on the corner of
yeah.
Woodward and Warren, and that wonderful building that's right there on the corner. And we have a one-stop shop. So admissions is there, financial aid is there. Students have questions about the registrar's office. They can come into that one place and get help.
Advising, that's what it is.
Oh, advising. There's still the advising center. The University Advising Center is still at the undergraduate library.
Okay, that's what it's there. Yeah, Welcome Center got everything.
Where admissions, yes. So if you need to find me, if you have students who want to go to college, find me at the Welcome Center.
Okay. Chemistry.
I love it. Yes. We have a wonderful chemistry program at Wayne State.
They redid that building a few years ago. It looks dope. And the science and engineering, they redid that one too after I left.
What about engineering? I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
The science and engineering building, they have redid that one as well.
Yes. Yeah. We have some amazing alumni and donors who have really helped with building new buildings on campus and providing amazing spaces for our students to grow as students, to do research. We have the new STEM Innovation Center. So there's a lot of wonderful things happening at Wayne State.
I get my money up. I want my name for a new music department.
Absolutely. You can always do that. In fact, I think last week was just Giving Day. So there's all kinds of projects.
And I'm being deep with
scholarships. Our students definitely need scholarships. So I encourage anyone who wants to give to Wayne State to give to students who are in need of, finishing their education and giving them funding to do that. Because college is getting more and more expensive. So
I'll be difficult for like 5 minutes. Like I want apple pie from Georgia. You got 20 minutes. I ain't signing this check.
If you pay to have your name on a building, you should have the ability to ask for some things that you need or that
I just want to see them do this. Like, oh my God, is he serious? Like, nah, I'm joking. I just want to see y'all freak out. I'm good. Let me sign the check. I've arrived. Y'all really trying to figure out how we gonna get pie from Georgia. What the world?
Listen, Jeffrey, I can't wait for your next album to go platinum so that you can, build that, have that music department building named after you.
Now, this your first podcast?
This is my first podcast with a local and native Detroiter. I have done some podcasts for admissions type of stuff. But yeah, this is my
worldwide with okay. I'm happy that you mess around with those little folks over here.
No, I'm always happy to talk to people, people like yourself who are trying to inspire others, and I think that's wonderful. So congratulations to you for following your gifts and for doing something that might also be out of your comfort zone and following that call.
Yeah. Lord.
Yeah.
And
you know what? And people you make it look easy, it's so easy, but there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Amen.
People don't necessarily understand that. So, like I said, it's a lot of hard work. And I know that you've probably been on the grind for a long time. But again, congratulations to you for this and all the other amazing things that you're doing.
You too, them future books.
You just put an X on the end. First, we were just trying to get over the one book hurdle. Now you got books, plural. Okay.
Well, they done it to me, so I got to pass the love,
Wow. Okay.
And just say, I share Dr. Angela Simmons. Thank you for your time tonight.
For being here. Yes, STEM.
We want to thank fellow Wayne State University alum and Senior Director of Wayne Undergraduate Admissions at Wayne State University, Ericka Jackson. She was going to throw a pan at me. I don't want a problem. For sharing her journey. Whoever watched the live, appreciate you for watching and share it. Anybody watch the replay? If she could do it, you could do it. I've done it. You got to do something for yourself.
Find your purpose. Absolutely.
Until next time, y'all have a great night. Check out Ground Floor at 10:30. And if you want, you can go ahead and cancel it out after the outro plays.
Okay.
3, 1.